Welcome again. In this chapter, we will discuss types of businesses, structures, and models for your BizBaby. This chapter is one of the biggest ones we've had so far, and it could potentially be a book on its own talking about types of businesses, structures, and models. Let's cover the most usual models for small businesses today: providing a service, selling a product, and a consultancy. Providing a service. Examples: haircut salon, shoe repair, home cleaning, clinic, etc. Service types of businesses usually have higher margins. However, they're very hard to scale since it takes a human labor to service one customer. For example, doing a haircut almost always will take 20 to 30 minutes for short hair, 1+ hour for long hair customer. If you have 1,000 customers, it will take just 1,000 times as long. There is no discount for high volume. In fact, busier the service, the more expensive it becomes as a rule of thumb. Customer loyalty is usually higher than product types of business, but lower than consultancy. If you found a great dry cleaner who removed stains and hemmed your pants, you might consider going to them, even if you move to a different area, but not where it becomes a hassle to get there each time. Number 2, selling a product. Examples: bakery, retail stores, food truck, restaurant. Selling a product is usually a low margin business. However, with increase of volume, it usually tends to get higher profit margins. It's more scalable than providing a service. For example, a liquor store can sell 100 bottles of wine per day. However, if it got popular and started selling 10,000 bottles a day, it would need 100 times more employees, space, and cost of inventory. Most products become cheaper with higher volume. Products usually have lower loyalty than consultancy and service types of businesses, since it's easier to be implemented by competition. For example, a liquor store will lose a regular customer if one moved to a different area, even a few blocks away, closer to a different liquor store. Number 3, consultancy. Examples: tutoring, personal trainer, handyman, bookkeeper, etc. Most consultant, contractor / freelancer types of businesses have a hard limit. That's usually the time of their operator, who most of the time is also a business owner. For example, if a personal trainer wanted to increase the number of clients from 1 to 2 per day, it means that he or she would need to work twice as long. And there's very clear limit of how many clients he or she would be able to have before starting to turn clients down. However, consultants don't have to follow the pricing of other consultants and can negotiate their own price for the work per client or per project. Clients usually have high loyalty to a consultant that did a good job. For example, a family that would send their kid to a tutor who is further away that did a good job tutoring their child. Now let's talk about space. Location, location, location. Retail and local is number 1, and online and remote is number 2. Almost each type of business can be done or sold online or locally, with a few exceptions, of course. It's extremely important to understand pros and cons. Having a physical store on a street level will get you eyes and some ears through foot traffic, and a local listing in Google Maps and Yelp. However, operating a business from home is a remote but affordable location means less money spent on rent and more marketing. Doing things remotely also means high scalability. When opening a physical store, you need a person or two to manage it. However, having 2 stores requires twice as rent and twice labor. So, years ago, I decided to open a chain of physical laundry and dry cleaning stores. And after opening 3 locations, only 1 out of 3 became profitable. While the other 2 were dragging business down, I ended up closing those 2 stores and losing over $150,000 in rent and labor costs. Not to mention all the legal costs getting out of the long leases. Another important detail is control over the space. When you invest into a physical location, you're at the mercy of a landlord to keep renewing your lease at an acceptable rate or renewing it all. However, when things done remotely, you can relocate to a larger space, cheaper space, have almost no effect on your business. Doing things remotely and investing into a brand and marketing, could be the flexibility and advantage that could make your business successful. Now, let's discuss business structures. Hear what SBA says about it. Proprietorship, P is an easy form. It gives you complete control over your business. You're automatically considered to be a sole P if you do business activities, but don't register as any other kind of business. Sole P, do not produce a separate business entity. This means your business assets and liabilities are not separate from your personal assets and liabilities. You can be held personally liable for the debts and obligation of the business. Sole proprietors are still able to get trade name. It can also be hard to raise money because you can't sell stock and banks are hesitant to lend to sole proprietorships. Sole proprietorships can be a good choice for low-risk businesses and owners who want to test their business idea before forming a more formal business. Comments: when you start accepting any kind of money for services or products, you automatically become a sole proprietor. It's a good idea to make sure your revenue gets to a steady place where you are sure about the direction and future of your business. However, most of the time you will not be able to rent a retail space without forming a company. Number 2, limited liability company or LLC. An LLC lets you take advantage of the benefits of both corporation and partnership business structures. LLCs protect you from personal liability in most instances. Your personal assets like your vehicle, your house, your savings accounts won't be at risk in case your LLC faces bankruptcy or lawsuits. Being an LLC protects your personal assets and separates them from business assets. Your profits and losses can get passed through to your personal income without facing corporate taxes. However, members of an LLC are considered self-employed and must pay self-employment tax contributions toward Medicare and Social Security. LLCs can have a limited life in many states. When a member joins or leaves LLC, some states may require an LLC to be dissolved or reformed with the new membership, unless there is an already agreement in place within the LLC for buying, selling, or transferring ownership. LLCs could be a good choice for a medium or high-risk businesses. Owners with significant personal assets want to be protected, and owners who want to pay a lower tax rate than with a corporation. Comments: be careful opening a single-member LLCs. Since it has almost no protections, consider opening a C-Corp instead. It might be a little more expensive, but it will have higher protections against business liabilities. Some states have high publication requirements for LLCs, means you will have to publish public release about the formation of your LLC in local newspaper. Number 3, corporation. A C-Corp, short. A corporation, sometimes called a C-Corp, is a legal entity that separates from the owners. Corporations can make a profit, be taxed, and can be held legally liable. Corporations offer the strongest protection to its owners from personal liability, but the cost to form a corporation is higher than other structures. Corporations also require more extensive record keeping, operational procedures, and reporting. Unlike sole proprietors, partnerships, and LLCs, corporations may pay income tax on their profits. In some cases, corporate profits taxed twice. First, when a company makes a profit. Again, when dividends are paid to shareholders on their personal tax returns. Corporations have completely independent life separate from its shareholders. If a shareholder leaves the company and sells his or her shares, the C-Corp can continue doing business relatively undisturbed. Corporations have an advantage when it comes to raising capital because they can raise funds through the sale of stock, which can also be a benefit in attracting employees, in case you want to pay an employee stock. Corporations can be a good choice for medium and high-risk businesses. Businesses that need to raise money and businesses that plan to go public or eventually be sold. Comments: for any person who is seriously considering opening business and focus on it full-time, you should consider C-Corp or S-Corp. If you consider raising money in the future, C-Corp is your choice. Angel investors, potential future partners, or VCs mostly will not invest into S-Corp, which we'll talk now. Number 4, S-Corps. An S-Corporation, sometimes called an S-Corp, is a special type of corporation that's designed to avoid the double taxation drawback of regular C-Corps. And who likes paying taxes, right? S-Corps allow profits and some losses to be passed through directly to owners' personal income without ever being subject to corporate taxes. S-Corps must file with an IRS to get S-Corp status. It's a different process from registering with their state. There are special limits on S-Corps. For example, S-Corps can't have more than 100 shareholders, and all shareholders must be U.S. citizens. You will still have to follow strict filing and operational processes of the C-Corp. S-Corps also have an independent life, just like C-Corps. If a shareholder leaves the company or sells his or her shares, The S-Corp can continue doing a business relatively undisturbed. Great. Comments. All corporations are filed as C-Corp first, and then it can be applied to get an S-Corp status with IRS. You have 1 year to apply for S-Chapter. However, exceptions are often made allowing C-Corps to get S-Chapter even after 1 year of operating. Choose S-Corp only if you are not planning to onboard more partners or investors in the future. For example, a family business is a good case to have an S-Corp. S-Corps are better for when you consider selling your business in the future. However, there are ways to minimize the tax difference between S-Corp and C-Corp in case you choose not to go with an S-Corp. There are many more business structures, partnerships, non-profit org, B Corp, close Corp, but overwhelming majority of the first-time and small business owners will use one of the above for their business. Most businesses are registered online with the help of an incorporator. One of the companies I've personally used in the past is incorporate.com. You can form a company in any state with a few days with a dedicated account manager at your disposal. It could be a good place to start for anyone with a little prior experience opening companies. Now let's summarize everything we just talked about. First, we spoke about business models. Number 1, providing a service. Number 2, selling a product. Number 3, consultancy. Then we discussed locations. Number 1 was a retail and local. Or number 2, doing things online and remote and the benefits of it. And we also talked about structures. Number 1 is sole proprietorships. Number 2 is LLCs. 3 is C-Corps or general corporations. And number 4 is S-Corps or S-Chapter corporations. Congratulations, you have now learned about business types, structures, and models to get started on your own BizBaby. Thank you very much.